Hey, folks, welcome back to another episode of the Husker Big Red Podcast with Chris Peterson of HuskerBigRed.com. And joining me, as always, is my co host, Danny Gillette of thegreatcornholio.org. And today we have a special guest, 2023 Nebraska football signee, Tristan Alvano. Hey, Tristan, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Did you just get out of school, or what do you got going on today?
Yeah, I just got out of school. Probably gonna hit the gym right after. So yeah.
Right on. Nice. Like to hear that. Danny, how are you doing today, man?
Good, and Tristan, thank you for responding to my random DM. I know it was out of the blue, and I realize that, but we're just fans ourselves, so we just take our shots and hope we can get some good guests on here. So I'm thrilled to have you on here, and thanks for taking time out of your day to do this.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you.
And so I guess I'll ask my first question, and then we'll kind of rebound from there and rotate. I'll rotate between Chris and myself. So my first question here was, what was it like? You had a big performance in the state championship game, and then, according to reports, you got offered by Nebraska shortly thereafter, pretty much the morning after. What was it like that high of performing so well in the state championship game, and then being offered by your home state team?
Yeah, no, I think well, obviously I had a preferred walk-on offer. I got that uh, during like pretty much like pregame of the Nebraska Minnesota game, and I was down there. That was my first time down there ever. And then just kind of went on. Had some good contact with the coaches and everything, and then obviously the state championship game. Right the day after, at the time, Coach Mickey Joseph was interim head coach, and he called me the next morning, and he said that after that performance, and he didn't want me leaving the state, and that I got to be on scholarship, and so he kind of just upped his offer to a scholarship, and I was just blessed to have that, and just honestly, that was just a crazy night, crazy morning too. It was just an unbelievable feeling.
How good did that feel just to have him call and say, hey, we want to make sure you don't leave the state of Nebraska?
It felt good. I mean, I'd been kind of overlooked by the previous staff there, so I think just hearing it from his mouth while he was in the head man at the wheel, I think it felt really good to hear, just knowing that I was appreciated and that they saw that potential in me.
Mm.
So what's your take then on all of these, state players committing to the program? We have a huge group of in-state kids coming in, and what's your take on that? I know that you mentioned that, maybe you and some others got overlooked by the previous staff. What do you think about all the in-state talent coming to the program?
I think what we have with this class and all the in-state guys is phenomenal. I think the Coach Rhule and the whole new staff did an amazing job in the 1 to 2 months they've been here. Not only assembling the whole recruiting class, but really just keeping the in-state guys home. And I mean, I've seen something. I don't know the official thing, but it's like this is the biggest, or this is the most in-state scholarship guys Nebraska's had since like in the early 2000s or something like that. I don't know the exact stat, but I saw that on Twitter at some time, and it's just crazy. It just shows like I think we have a really good recruiting class and a really good group of in-state kids, and I'm excited to get started with them.
So what were your first impressions, or I guess what was your first interaction with Coach Rhule?
It was my first interaction with him was over the phone. I think it was Keith Williams, one of the player personnel guys down there, texted me that night and introduced himself, and he asked me if I got some time to talk to Coach Rhule, and Coach Foley actually was right there too, the special teams coordinator. So I got to really talk to them for probably like 10 minutes each. It was just good to get to know them. They seemed like great guys over the phone, and we just talked, small talk, and then just talked about how like obviously my scholarship and stuff still stands and everything, which is good to hear. You know, it was just they're going to honor that and everything, and so it was good to hear. And then get me down for a couple visits before the early signing day, and they kept their word and did that. And just meeting them in person was great, and just developed a really good relationship with them over the next few weeks.
What's the energy of this coaching staff like? I mean, we've seen it all over the place on Twitter. Coach Rhule with his, emojis and things like that. He's generating a lot of excitement around the program. What's it like, when you're with him and with the coaching staff? Does that excitement kind of translate over to, real life interactions and situations?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what his emojis mean, but I think whenever I see them on Twitter, I think they get all Husker Nation fired up, and I think it's really good to see. And I think there's definitely kind of a new vibe and energy down there. I think even current players feel the same way. Like the practices and energy is just different now, and I think there's kind of a new chapter in the football program, and I think everyone's just really really starting to get going. And obviously, I think the fans are the most fired up. Just best fan base in the country, just doing what they do and supporting us as always.
Yeah, I know. Whenever Coach Rhule puts out his emojis, I'm like, the national treasure people trying to decipher, what they mean and everything. So, but I wanted to ask you, Tristan, when is like the moment that you made that decision? Like, I'm going to be a Nebraska Cornhusker, if you don't mind sharing that with us.
Yeah, no, I think, well, okay, so I had a really good official visit, and I was that kind of sold me on it. Just being able to spend that much time with the staff that weekend, and seeing all the facilities, and just really doing some thinking with my family. I mean, just getting the chance to get down there with both my parents, and they were just knowing that they were happy and just really enjoying it showed that if they're happy, then I'm going to be happy too. And I mean, it's close to home. I'm 45 minutes about from my house, so I mean, I can't get any closer. And just knowing that my parents can just drive to every game, it's great. And I mean, it was the right place, and I'm happy with my decision for sure.
Now, switching back to kind of the kicking aspect of things, do you have any sort of routine that you go through before a game, or anything to help your leg kind of get warmed up and also like yourself in the right frame of mind before a game?
Yeah, I'm really big in the mental piece of kicking, so I do a lot of I really work on my meditation, visualization before games. I think my program at Westside's done a really good job of working on the mental piece, and they've kind of instilled that in us, and it's translated for me into soccer and football and just everything I do really. So that's a huge piece. So I'll do that a couple times before a game. And in terms of warm ups, I mean, I try to warm up like the season. I try to warm up the same way every time, and I did it the first game and really liked it, and just stuck with it the whole year long. And I didn't change a thing for it. It was great. And yeah, I mean, I don't have a crazy routine. I love getting fired up some music, and just and then also getting calmed down by some meditation, and just locked in and doing my job.
So, yeah, you were mentioning that you played soccer. I was curious. Did like on the football field, are you just a kicker, or do you play any other positions? And also, I guess expand on your soccer background a little bit. What's kind of your position and your history there?
Yeah, so for football, I'm only a kicker, and then soccer, I'm a forward. I've played that my whole life. Started when I was probably 6, and then just stuck with it all my whole life, obviously. And then freshman year, I tried football and just wanted to see what it was like. Just my parents and my family just kind of suggested, yeah, give kicking a try. And so I was just like, all right, well, it's freshman year, let's give it a try. Why not? Had some success doing that, and then get hurt a little bit playing soccer, and then sophomore year comes around, I have about half a season because I was coming off of that injury and it just wasn't as strong as I wanted to. And then junior year, I kind of had a breakout year, I feel like, and just kind of came out of nowhere. Had a really good season. Was first team All State, and we lost in the state final 7-3. So that was a really heartbreaking loss. And then in the postseason, I just start working on going out to camps and everything, and that's how I kind of got my recognition and ranking by Cole's kicking, and then just kept working at it, and really just fell in love with the grind. And I mean, I was a soccer guy, and I've always wanted to play college soccer, but I fell in love with kicking, and that's where my passion is now, and I love it, and I think I've made the right decision for myself.
Was there a moment where you realized, okay, maybe I can take this kicking thing to the next level and be a college football player, a big time college football player at that? Was there a moment or a situation where the light bulb kind of popped off in your head and you thought maybe you can make, a career out of this?
Yeah, I think after kind of that light bulb moment, like you were talking about, I think that was after probably the first game of my junior year against our rivals, Creighton Prep. I had 3 field goals that night, and that was the first three attempts uh, for us that season, and just knowing that after the game, hearing from some coaches, I don't know, a couple weeks later, that Northern Illinois was interested in me, and they'd watched the game because one of our coach's sons went out and is playing for him right now, D line. But just knowing that they're interested in me, and they want me to stay in contact with them, just that was kind of the first school that was interested in me. And so just knowing that that I had a school that was maybe wanting me to kick for them at one point, like that was really cool, because I was just at that point I was just a soccer player, just playing football. I wasn't really trying to go play college football, and that kind of, I don't know, kind of flipped the switch maybe for me, and just maybe realize, like, okay, maybe I have a future in this. Let's keep working and see what happens.
So I just have a simple question. We all know that you're very accurate with your kicks. Obviously, you made all the kicks in the state championship game. But what's your distance? Where do you feel comfortable from? On the field at this point.
I would say I made a 57-yarder this year in the first round of playoffs, but I honestly feel like I'm good from I think I'm good from 60 in game. I just, with all the adrenaline and everything, like I tell our offensive coaches, just try to get to the 30. No, it was 60, 40. Get to the 43-yard line. Sorry, math was acting up there. Yeah, get to the 43-yard line, and I know we got a shot at field goal, and that's again, Westside's really they're good about attempting field goals. They don't. I mean, obviously they do go for some fourth downs, and I don't blame them, but they love to send us out there, and they trust the whole unit, which is great as a kicker. Just knowing you have a high school that does that. So yeah, just get to the 43.
Do you have any goals, maybe short term or long term, if you want to say, that you have as you kind of embark on your college career?
Um, well, I think just I wanna be a finalist at least, or maybe even win the thing. Who knows? But I want to win the Luke Rose Award. I mean, that's the almost like the national kicker of the year. Like that'd be quite the honor, and just probably the almost like the cherry on top of a college career. I mean, one guy a year wins that, and so just knowing that you were the guy that year is just that'd be special. And then I think just a really just great memory that I'd love to make in my time at Nebraska would be hitting the game winner at home or away. It doesn't matter, but I just want to hit a game win field goal. I think having the celebration with the team, and just knowing, and just see the fans go crazy. I think that'd be. I mean, obviously, I ended my high school career with a game winner, so I want to kind of get another attempt to do that in college. I think that'd be special.
Well, if you can kick from 57, then my guess is that you'll have a shot at some point. Go ahead,
Hopefully.
Chris.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, obviously, the last few years Nebraska's, struggled a little bit with kicking, but it's had a pretty strong, tradition, like Alex Henry and some of those guys. Like, did you kind of grow up like watching those guys at all? Were you like, would you say you were a Nebraska like football fan, or you kind of picked up the game like later in life?
Oh yeah, I grew up. I grew up a Husker fan for sure. I mean, I've been going to games for years. My grandpa's had season tickets since for probably almost 40 years now. And I think just I mean, back then when I was a little kid, I would not watch kickers as closely as I do now, just because I wasn't one back then. Now I'm certainly in any game I watch them closely. But back then, I mean, yes, I from the likes of Drew Brown to uh, Barrett Pickering or Connor Culp. I mean, I was always watching the guys for sure, and yeah, I mean, and then it turns out my junior year, my holder was Colby Brown, and he's the son of Chris Brown, who's obviously a Husker legend and had I think 12-year career in the NFL. So I mean, and I got the chance to work with him throughout my career, and that's an insane resource to have as a high school kid in Omaha. So just I'm very fortunate to have him, and that whole family's great. And I mean, just yeah, it's just special.
So I kind of want to go off the grid a little bit here and kind of shift gears. Who's your favorite NFL team? Who are you root for on Sundays, if anybody?
I'm a Packers fan. Obviously, we had a tough end of the year and didn't make the playoffs, but we won't talk about that.
Who's your favorite player?
Oh, Aaron Rodgers, easy. But I mean, I don't know if that's I don't know his future there. We'll see.
I mean, he's definitely had a good run. I mean, there's no complaints about that. I'm a Patriots fan, so I witnessed the Tom Brady run, and now I'm kind of witnessing a Mac Jones run, sort of, but it's not going so hot. So we'll see. But Chris, you got anything else you want to ask him?
Well, hey, I'm glad you're a Packers fan. I'm a Packers fan too. So hopefully, you can emulate Mason Crosby most of his career. Anyway, he's been a pretty good kicker over the years.
Oh yeah, for
So,
sure.
yeah, I guess I don't know. We'll see. I did have another question, but I got kind of distracted there. But I guess one thing here I wanted to ask you, as with a lot of out of state recruits, and obviously, you're an in state recruit in Nebraska, and Nebraska is obviously a little bit different, than other places. So how do you kind of, tell the newer kids about Nebraska, like, what they need to know about Nebraska, like places to eat or like things to do, or what about, what about Nebraska is like interesting that you try to tell these guys about, if anything?
Well, I mean, growing up in Omaha, I mean that's the biggest city in the state. But everyone who like whenever you go to that state or everyone that comes here is like, well, what is there to do here? Well, I tell them, listen, you got the CWS, which is a huge attraction, and even if you don't like baseball, like I mean, it's a great environment, and just I mean, it's cool to see that. And then we got Henry Dorley Zoo, and then obviously like the sports here are huge. I mean, you got minor league soccer and baseball teams. Obviously, you got Nebraska, and then you got Creighton and UNO. I mean, there's just a lot of things to do here. And then in Lincoln, I mean, feel like a lot of people think it's just some small town with a school, but I think it's more than that. Like, Haymarket's just such a cool area, and it's just a great community that's growing, and there's a lot of things to do, and the food's great, and yeah, I mean, I think it's more than just school, you know.
There's a ton of in-state talent coming up in 2024. Caleb Benning, David Hall, Pi from, those guys. Like, have you reached out to them at all? Are you connected with them in any way, or do you know of them? Like, do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking to some recruits. I mean, obviously, all the guys at Westside are my teammates, so I'm trying to work them as much and trying to promote them to some of the Nebraska coaches as much as I can. And then, I think just I'll say when I was going through the process and any commit or any player at one of those schools would reach out to me. I think it meant a lot. So I think me being able to do that for some other recruits going through the process, I think that would help them out, and I think they'd appreciate it because I know I would for sure. And so, yeah, definitely going to keep recruiting for us. I know we have a great class in the 23, and we've got to start working on the 24s and 25s for sure.
There's a lot of talent coming up for sure, so I'm gonna be excited to see who the program can land from in state. So
Oh man, yeah. There's so much talent around the whole state in those classes. I mean, the amount of youth we got that's just packed with talents and phenomenal, and especially at Westside too. Man, we got a lot of guys that can play, and so we got to lock those guys up and keep them at home.
I wanted to ask you, how cool is Coach Ed Foley? He seems pretty cool from his Twitter interactions, like a cool guy to hang out with. Have you got to interact with him a whole lot?
Man, Coach Foley's awesome. I think it's funny. My obviously he's a commit too, and one of my teammates, Jalen Lloyd, he was just like, "Man, Tristan, you're a kicker, but you might be one of the luckiest guys you get to work with Coach Foley every day because he's just such a cool guy." And I mean, he's right. Coach Foley's awesome. I mean, he knows he's been doing this for a while, so he just knows he knows everything about every place and can work up a conversation about just any school or anything you want to talk about. He's just a great talker and just I don't know, you just feel really comfortable talking to him, and I mean, just overall great guy.
I know you've only got to work with him, for a couple of months, but what have you learned from Coach Foley? Is there anything that he's really taught you that's really stuck out so far?
I just think that he's a really genuine guy. He's a big players first guy, so he's always gonna work with you and just make sure you're taken care of over himself. Honestly, at some points, he's just I don't know. He's just I haven't got the chance to work with him yet in a coaching setting, so I'm excited for that opportunity. But just talking with him in person or over the phone, when he's been recruiting me or up at Westside or whatever, or even over for dinner that one time he was over, I think he's just a great guy and just yeah, can really talk to anyone.
I wanted to ask you, kickers, everybody focuses on, like the PATs and the field goals and stuff, which are obviously important. But another thing is being kind of a kickoff specialist and, handling those kind of duties. And that can be important for field position and that type of stuff too. So how do you kind of train yourself for that as a kicker? And how would you kind of evaluate yourself as a kickoff specialist?
Obviously it's either for sure field goals and kickoffs are two different things, but I think I mean, in high school, I know that me being able to start with me being able to hit a touchback and make my defense start at the other team's 20. I mean, that's huge. Knowing that every opposing offense has to go 80 yards to score a touchdown, that's a big deal. And especially in high school football, that's tough. In college, same way, going 75 yards. I mean, it's important, and I think it's underappreciated. And I think the defense really helps. I think it really helps out the defense. I think they really appreciate it, and yeah, and then I think it all starts with putting points on the board, and whether it's a touchdown, a field goal, or whatever, just getting those points, and then you gotta, as a kicker, if you hit a field goal, you gotta come back right around and hit a kickoff and set your defense up for success. And that starts by hitting touchbacks for sure.
Complimentary football, man. We need more of that at Nebraska in the future.
Yes, sir.
So,
absolutely.
Well, all right, Tristan. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. I really want to thank you again for joining us today. And then I guess before you go, is there anything else you want to add or anything you want to say to all the Nebraska football fans out there?
I don't got much. Just go Big Red.
Go Big Red works.
Yeah,
that's perfect, man. And for everybody out there, make sure you guys, get into the comment section, like this video and hit that subscribe button to the Husker Big Red YouTube channel. And we will see you guys around. Thanks again to Tristan. We can't wait to see you hitting some field goals at a Memorial Stadium in the future. So as always, go Big Red.
Go Big Red.
Yes, sir.